Hello, everyone out there. Welcome to another edition of We Are the Review Crew here on Sea of Tranquility. And it's Review Crew on the road because, as you can see, I'm not in my basement. I actually got out of the house for a change. Whoa, I know. There's no big TV behind me, but you can barely see it. There's a German flag there because I am in German Village here in Columbus, Ohio. It's right next to downtown. It's a little village right here in Columbus, and I'm in a building built by Germans in the 1800s. A German restaurant is right downstairs, and look, I got a real German next to me. You're like, what the hell is going on, Laszlo? Well, we'll get into that in a minute, but let me introduce you. Ryan Scowls here, reliable Ryan. Always got new music he likes to talk about.
Always do.
Greg Kaminsky here. And there's just three of us, but that's all right because we got a lot to get to. I'm going to start off the show. We'd like to review new music here. We each got two albums. I'm going to go first so these Germans can go about their business, and it's about drinking time for them at 10 a.m. So I'm holding them back from the drinking hour. Myself, we are at the name of the restaurant is Valters, right?
That's right.
And it's at the Manicor building. Is that how you say it? Manicor?
Right. Yep.
This is Johannes. He's going to be helping me out with my review. And Johannes, what do you do? What is the Manicor building?
Well, the Menacor is a singing society and also social club at the same time. We have been around since 1848,
1848.
and we just try to keep the German and Austrian culture up in its entirety. It might be through songs and other cultural events.
Cool. And Manicor is, what does that mean?
It's men's choir, so
Men's
that
choir.
the founding goes back to just a simple choir of 12 people, and then it had grown into a social club later on, and its peak time we had a lot of members, like 3,000 members in the 1970s.
Cool.
Yeah,
I'm always looking for drinking buddies. I'm not German though. Can I join this house? I
absolutely.
drink like a German.
Well,
So this is basically
that was
just a place
quality.
you
Yeah,
come to get away from the wife for a little bit and drink some beers
yeah,
and do male,
gather some friends. Yeah,
bond with
yeah,
some males and make some jokes that the wives wouldn't find funny normally.
that's right.
Awesome.
That can be part
This
of
is
it.
my kind. I'm gonna come here more
Yeah.
often, I think, and start drinking at 10 a.m. because look, I got my German beer. Now, what kind of beer is this again? Hof,
Hofbräuhaus.
like Opera House, but Hofbrauhaus
Yeah.
original. And here, now this is their social club upstairs. How they keep it running is pretty much the restaurant downstairs, and the restaurant does not mess around. If you are in Columbus, come to German Village. You can tell that it was built in the 1800s, like cobblestone roads, really narrow for like horse and buggy stuff. You can feel the culture and the history here. And look at this pork shank right here that they made for me. I'll be taking this home, and the wife will probably be eating most of it, I know. And it's got the German, is that German potato salad?
Yes, there is some of that on it. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
some sauerkraut and the mustard they make here. I already had the breakfast skillet with the mustard. Like mustard on breakfast. Oh, it worked. And it was some of the best eggs I ever had too.
Wow.
So yes, come to Columbus, the Walters. Now, why am I here? I am going to review an album that is a German band. And I tried to find a Scorpions t-shirt at the last minute to wear today, and I couldn't find one. But this is a German band, and the name of the band is, well, hold on. Let me bring up, I don't have the TV behind me, but I printed off some stuff. Who? Johannes, help me out. Who are they?
All right. Kanonenfieber.
Hanka formed 2020 from Germany. What do they play? World War One themed blackened melodic death metal. And the album is Big Catastrophe, right?
Yep.
But you say it how it needs to be said, like D.
Oh, Urkatastrophe.
There you go. Released
Wow.
September 20th, 2024. So it was released in September. So it's a couple months old, but that's all right. I'm getting to it now, getting to it the right way. So the thing is with this album, it's sung in German. The titles of the songs are in German. It's it's deathy black metal vocals, but not too harsh. I mean, if you're used to death metal or black metal, you're not going to find it harsh. If you don't listen to it at all, you might find it really harsh. But the thing is, it tells a story. The first album was based off of World War One, the second album as well. So even though I cannot understand the lyrics, I still feel there's a story there. I feel the story. So each song gives me a feeling. So what I did was I took all 12 tracks, I wrote down a very short thing of how the song makes me feel. And what I'm going to do with Johannes here is I'm going to bring up the first track. I'm going to let him pronounce it. I'm going to tell you what I think it might be about, and then he's going to translate the name of the song, and we'll see how close I am. So, first song, how do you say that?
Großmacht Fantasy.
Look at that. Großmacht Fantasy. It's a short introduction on the song. So I'm going to say it makes me feel like the powers that be are trying to promote the war and say how we're going to win this war. What's this song? What's that word mean?
Großmacht is like superpower, and
Powers that be.
And fantasy is fantasy.
Fantasy, because they lost the war. Bam! I'm slamming that down and dropping that mic. 1 for 1, bitches. Number 2. This is actually, they did a Houses of the Holy type thing here because this is the name of the previous album, but the song is on this album. So how do you say that?
Menschenmühle.
Ooh, is there murder involved in this? I don't know. Pounding rhythm sounds like a march, cadence chant, like maybe a drill sergeant says one thing and the cadets reply back with something else. What's this word mean though?
Well, Menschen is like people, and Mühle means mill, like sawmill. So it's like people mill.
People mill coming in,
Yeah,
like the cover.
Yeah, right.
Where's my album go? So it's pretty much that. I'm gonna give myself I'm gonna give myself a 30% on that one. Now this one, I wrote down how the song made me feel before realizing, oh, I think I know what this word means. So I think I'm pretty damn close. This.
Sturmtrupp.
That has to be Stormtrooper, right? So I wrote down big sweeping guitar parts, almost hopeful vocals. Sounds like army men having hopes as they charge into battle.
I think you're right.
I think I'm fucking right on that one.
It's 100 points.
Number 100 points. Number 4.
Der Maulwurf. I'm curious about that one.
Slower and laid back for black metal. So I feel like it's like a slow walk of the troops and they're feeling tired.
Hammer.
It's
Something with a hammer. It's
the what?
Mold.
Oh, the mole.
Yeah,
I'm way off on that one.
Yeah.
Number 5.
Yeah. Or Le Weg zu Lemberg.
I think this is big. This is epic. Melodic guitar parts, sounds of explosions coming from the drums. It's maybe a big, huge, epic battle. Maybe the army men are realizing the holy shit, I'm in a fucking war. How did I get here? What does that mean though?
Oh, that's 2 cities in nowadays Ukraine, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
I'm giving myself a 10% on it. Not too good on that one. All right, Waffenbrüder, maybe?
Yeah, Waffenbrüder.
Look at that, Waffenbrüder. I'm giving myself 100% on pronouncing it. I'm going to say this is a celebration of winning maybe a big battle because it almost sounds joyful.
Well, what it really, I think it hits it pretty well, but what it means is brothers in arms.
See, I'm giving myself a 95% on that one. Number 7.
Gott mit der Kavallerie.
That cavalry is involved. I do believe horses galloping, maybe
going with the cavalry.
Well, the first part is important too here.
Mm.
Gott means God with the cavalry.
I think I can join this club. I think I can't speak German, but I can speak music. All right, number 8.
Hanka.
Plows ahead with big, thick riffs, almost like a tank. Is there a tank involved in this?
Tank, that's right. Yeah. Yep.
Oh my God, I'm giving myself chills. Number 9.
Ritter der Lüfte. Wow.
There's no rooster involved, right?
No.
Vocals sound crazy, almost like, like happy, but crazy happy, like the Joker. It's about becoming maybe numb to the killing, almost enjoying it, acquiring the taste for blood. No.
Alright.
0% on that.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Something of the air. Yeah.
Yeah, that Luft is air and Ritter is a horseman or a rider.
Okay.
Yeah.
Air and horseman?
Yeah.
Riding on air.
Red Baron. The Red Baron?
Yeah.
A knight of the air. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
I think.
What, you got something else to add?
No, but this one, the spelling on that. We need to add a D after the R.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did I forget it? I wonder if it's on the album.
Mhm.
No, it's not on the album. Well, we'll take it as it.
Verdun.
Yeah.
The Battle of Verdun, the Second World War.
I said a short interlude narration, maybe writing home, taking, they're writing home about the battles that they were in and stuff, but it has nothing to do with that.
No, not really.
What if you take the D off?
Well, then it doesn't mean anything.
That doesn't mean shit. Maybe it's a guy writing a letter home. He doesn't know how to fucking spell.
That's a possibility.
Number 11.
Oh, Ausblutungsschlacht.
The battle becomes almost like the cover. Oh, you know what? This is where men are going through the grinder, I thought. So there's a song on there, but I said, they're being lined up to be killed almost one by one. Like the troops come up, they get shot down. Here comes the next line of troops, they get shot down. Nothing like that.
Nah. See, when you look at the word here, that the one in the middle, Blut, that's blood.
Blood.
Okay.
Right? Schlacht is the battle.
Okay.
So that's the blood drain battle, kind of what it translates.
I'm giving myself a 65%. Yeah. Last one. It's a acoustic ballad. The war is over. They got their butts kicked and they're going back home, though, and they're happy about that. How do you say it?
Als die Waffen kamen.
And what's it mean?
When the weapons arrived.
Why is it the last song? They finally got the weapons at the end of the war. No wonder they lost.
Yeah, that's right.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a sip of my German beer.
All right.
And I'm going to go ahead and go to the report card on this album. This is a very good, creative album. If you look at a lot of reviews on this album, like Angry Metal Guy and other things, they're giving it 5 out of 5. I see that. It's very good. Lots of melody, even though it's a little harsh, lots of melody. You feel like you're in a war. It doesn't glamorize war at all. So production, I'm giving it an A. Songwriting, I'm giving it an A because, my goodness, they give you the feeling of what it is without you understanding the lyrics. Musicianship, I'm going to change that to a B+. Maybe they're a lot better than what I'm hearing, though, but I'm going to give that a B+. B+ on the vocals, very solid black metal vocals. If I knew German, I think I could understand what he's saying. The ability to get you ready for a battle, that's going to be on the next report card too. I'm giving this one a B+ because it doesn't get you rah ready, but it gets you mentally ready for, it's going to be a shitstorm. So prepare yourself. So that's what I'm doing on that one. Now, as I said, I'm surrounded by a few Germans here. And like they said, this is a house of music. So I thought we'd give you all out there a little taste of the music that you would hear if you came here. So I got Mike here.
I'm just
Honest.
seated here.
I got John, right?
Yeah.
I got John and Big John. Look at Big John. Big John, if you would have been in the war by yourself, I think the Germans would have won. And they're going to go ahead and give you a little taste of what you'd hear, because you guys like to come out and sing for the customers, right?
That's right.
And drink with the customers, right?
We do that too at times, yeah.
So let's get y'all in here. Let me get out of the fucking way. And go ahead, give us something good.
Ein Prosit, der Gemütlichkeit. Ein Prosit, der Gemütlichkeit. 1, 2, 3, super! Zicke. Motorcycle. Volkswagen.
If
That's
that
great.
doesn't get you ready to drink, I don't know what does.
Yeah, that's great.
Oh, Lord have mercy. All right. Drinking at 10:30 a.m.
My little German dachshund liked it too.
Oh, look at that.
Oh,
He's
look.
all like, what
Wow.
the hell?
Thank you.
She perked right up.
Thanks.
Right.
Thanks, guys. I
Absolutely.
appreciate your help
All
so
right.
much. You guys are the
Absolutely.
best.
Thank you very much.
All right. So now we'll move on to some normal reviews. That was fun. Craig, what do you got?
Should I do both of these or just one? Or
Oh, you could just do one if you want, or two. You guys
well,
want to
I
do
have my Prezi open,
Ryan?
so
Did you want to do 2 rounds on your?
I'll just
Yeah, I got a few. So
Okay, yeah, let's do 2.
There you go. You want me to do 2? Or
No,
I got-
Craig was going to do his first one.
all right.
Okay.
My first one here. This is the 5th album from the Dictators and their first in 23 years. Uh, Now, the Dictators first formed in the 70s. They're sort of a proto-punk band. Their first album actually came out a year prior to the Ramones. And they are from New York, as Ryan is probably most well aware. And they had 3 albums in the 70s before they had broken up, and one of the founding members is guitarist Ross Friedman, otherwise known as
Ross
Ross
the
the
boss.
Boss. And he went on a few years later to form Manowar, and he plays on obviously all their best albums up through 1988. Ross has his own band now, but the Dictators reformed sometime in the 90s, and he joined along with most of the original members. Now, this album here features there's one notable absence, and that is lead singer Handsome Dick Manitoba, who sang a lot of the songs on their first 3 and actually in their 4th album as well from the early 2000s. But he doesn't get along now with Ross and Andy, the Andy Chernoff, the bass player and vocalist. So he's no longer with the band. However, and Andy Chernoff is the bass player and does most of the vocals. He sang most of the songs on their first 2 albums. So it's really kind of an organic change with having him handle the vocals on this new album. But you've got Ross the Boss returning on lead guitar. Keith Roth is a newest member, plays rhythm guitar and some vocals or some background vocals. And on drums, you got Albert Bouchard from Blue Oyster Cult.
Oh.
So it's a cool lineup of New Yorkers on this album. So what's the music like? So it's kind of I don't want to say uh, power punk, but it's not really punk, not that much. It's good hard rock played by some veteran players. Now, this album is very short. There's about 10 there's 10 songs, and it's only a little, maybe 34 minutes or so. And on top of that, over the last few years that they've reformed with this lineup, they've released some singles on that you can get on iTunes or through their website. So this of the 10 songs on this album, 4 of them were already released as singles. Those songs are "Let's Get the Band Back Together," "My Imaginary Friend," "Goddamn New York," and "Thank You and Have a Nice Day." Those songs are all great, and they were done within a year or maybe even 2 years ago. So they're a little bit slightly older than the rest of the songs, but the other 6 songs are just great hard rock, slightly punky songs. Including on this is a pretty cool cover of Transmaniacon MC. So they threw that on there. Sounds nice and fresh, and it's cool that you got Albert drumming on that as well. But all the songs are pretty much mid pace to fast pace, melodic, but with great guitar solos courtesy of Ross. and just a lot of fun. It's a good, refreshing album to hear, and I wish they would tour more than just playing local stuff around where Ryan lives, because I would surely go see them. And but it's a good album. You can get the physical CD. As far as I know, at least through their website. I didn't check and see if you can get it from Amazon, but you can also get this digitally. Since I already had the 4 songs that I had mentioned earlier, I bought them separately. I got the other 6 separately digitally. So again, a great album, and it's cool to see them back together with a strong lineup. They even have a few videos for a couple of these songs too, so check them out on YouTube. But again, it's the Dictators from New York City, and they're back and rocking.
All right. Good to hear. Ryan, I know you've got like a few that you want to kind of do a lightning round-ish type of thing.
Yeah. So I thought about what I want to review, and what I decided is I'm going to review a label. It's a small label out of Portland, Oregon, called Headsplit, and they put out a couple of releases. They're pretty active, so I figured I'd kind of go through a few of these. So Headsplit's a great new label out there, very small DIY. Not a lot of distribution. You order right from the label. Pretty basic stuff, but I like them because a lot of the metal we talk about on here, Sea of Tranquility, Hudson Valley Squares, it can be a little more. Sometimes it can be a little more highbrow, and that's fine. But I like metal that sounds like a bunch of guys drinking shit beer in an alley somewhere with a little boombox blast, and I just like that very down, dirty, filthy, not fancy lyrics about horror movies and gore and that kind of stuff. And these guys specialize in that. They go over. There's a lot of well, not black metal. There's a lot of like black death metal, a lot of thrash, a lot of death metal, a lot of really gurgly, gooey, pus-filled kind of stuff on this label. So I like it. I dig it. Usually they're one of the labels where they put something out. Even if I don't buy it, I'll usually listen to it. I ended up buying it anyways. So I'm going to go through 4 of their new releases. So the first one, I'll do these quick. I'll do 2 at a time. The first one is a band from Chicago called, I'll take it out of the jewel case because of the glare. Band's called Morbidity, and it's an EP. It's called Malignant Necropsy. And these guys are young as shit, because when I was looking them up, I looked at the picture and they looked really young. So you have a young band here doing very old school traditional death metal. Not reinventing the horse, as I like to say. Not reinventing the wheel, not reinventing the horse. It's just raw, primitive, good, chunky riffs, good songwriting. It's memorable. I listened to a couple tracks on YouTube, but I'm like, fuck, I threw in one of my orders. I really enjoy it. What does it remind me of? There's a little bit of Autopsy in there. Maybe a little bit of early Carcass, Symphonies of Sickness era Carcass, not when they started getting melodic, definitely before that. A little bit of the actually famous Chicago band Cyanide, Cianid, that Cyanide, great band too. So it just has that kind of like this chunky Midwestern, just salt of the earth, blue collar, like nasty death metal. It's cool, very cool. I figured I'd do that one once because really not a lot to say about it. Just what is it? It's a 6-song EP, barely over 20 minutes long, but just good solid death metal. I really liked it. The second one is we're going to travel over to Finland. And this band is called, also came out very recently. There's a great name, Scum Ripper. Scum Ripper. And the album is called For a Few Fixes More. And these guys are not really death metal at all. This is kind of like, if you know the 80s band from Seattle, The Accused, Martha Splatterhead, also has kind of that 80s crossover sound in a way. So there's like a little bit of that carnivore, kind of Stormtroopers of Death, mixed with a little bit black metal, a little thrash death. It's just kind of raw and gurgly again. I like it a lot. Kind of has that punk undercurrent too, which kind of underpins a lot of this stuff. Gives a little bit more of a catchy vibe to it than just straight up like blasting metal. But yeah, it's really cool too. The same deal. It's not fancy, it's not highbrow, it's just dirty down, right in the sewers kind of metal. I dig it. And these guys put out, I'm going to say probably almost 20 albums a year of this kind of stuff too. They do a lot of cassettes too, which I like, some kind of old school. If a band's putting out a demo tape, kind of traditional, I like tapes, I like I like that demo tape, I just call me old fashioned. That's just how I am. But yeah, The second one I'm going to do is Scum Ripper for a few fixes more. So if you like stuff like The Accused, if you like early Corrosion of Conformity, way before Pepper Keenan Joy became a stoner band, like that really early stuff. If you like Carnivore, if you like that kind of sound mixed with like a little more of a grisly, like thrash, sprinkling of black metal in there, I'd recommend this too. It definitely has that vibe. It's a lot of fun. So those are my first two from these guys. And I'll have two more in a minute.
All right. All my early COC stuff is on tape, is on cassette. So
There you go.
there you go.
I still have a giant. Actually, next round I'll grab a few just to show, but I won't necessarily review them. But I'll grab a couple of these tapes here. But yeah, those are my first two.
Okay. My second one, I'll be kind of quick on this one because Pete already reviewed this one on Wednesday. And but it fits in with the war kind of thing. I don't know, they don't always sing about war, but it's kind of like war metal, and they got like warriors on the covers all the time. And that is Grand Magus and their new album Sunraven. Now, who? I'm sure I'm going to say Magus, Grand Magus. The lead singer, JB, I saw him in an interview on YouTube, and he was saying Magus, I believe. So that's how I'm going to say it. Formed 1996 from Sweden. Well, they play traditional metal these days, more stoner-like metal back in the day. The album is Sunraven, released October 18th, 2024. And what do you get with this album? If you take, the first couple albums were more stoner metal, and then by album number 3 or 4, I would say on Iron Will, their fourth album, they really had that traditional galloping metal down pat, and they were but they had one foot in stoner metal all the time. So it's like almost like power metal with all the thunder but none of the lightning. If you take Amon Amarth and you take away the extreme elements, and then if you take power metal and you take away a lot of the cheesiness, that's what you get with Grand Metal. They're meat and potatoes, heavy metal, but really good meat and really nice potatoes. Right. So like a song like Skybound right away, you sense the warm, inviting production on this album. The warmth in JB's vocals, they're kind of husky, but they're you listen to this album and it's like the heavy metal version of being in a sleeping bag next to a fire in a way, because you just feel the warmth in the production and everything. The Wheel of Pain has big hooks and a big bottom in the sound. Sunraven is the best song, I think, on the album. You listen to that and it makes you want to pick up the closest sword and go running down your street of your neighborhood looking for a battle, and neighbors are looking at you through the window and going, oh, Laszlo's listening to Grand Magus again. It's that kind of thing. The Hour of the Wolf is really good, and it gives you at the end, that's very Maiden-like. It gives you that whoa, whoa, whoa type thing at the end, the crowd would sing along with. But here's the thing with this band. As you get more albums, they all kind of just become smushed in your brain because they all start sounding alike. They're really good at coming up with catchy guitar passages and hooks, but you listen to them and you're like, how similar is this song to the song on the previous album? Because I never do it side by side, but I think it would be kind of similar. Like you can almost play them at the same time and they might sound like one song. So as much as I enjoy these albums when I get them, there is a bit of an expiration date. After a month or two, they go on my shelf and I kind of don't listen to the band again until a new album comes out, like buying a new carton of milk. And then that's fresh again until it's hot. And then, so that's kind of how I treat this band. But if this is in your wheelhouse and you don't get tired of this kind of thing, you like the Maiden and the Priest and all that kind of thing, I think you should go ahead and get their whole damn catalog, and you'd probably enjoy the hell of it if you like old school metal. So yeah, that's my short review on that, and go check out Pete's review of it too, because he gives a positive review, and Pete probably doesn't get tired of it as much as I do. But yeah, check it out if you like traditional heavy metal. Grand Magus. Craig. Sorry, I don't have singers for that one. Craig, you're next.
It sounds like you need to contemplate that on the Tree of Woe while you're listening to it. But so my next one, a band I never tired on Sea of Tranquility, a band Ryan's also familiar with, great Aussie band that I love called Rose Tattoo. Now this is a live album from 1993 called Live from Bago Road Jail. And they actually had reformed in 1993 at the time to celebrate the closing of Bago Road Jail, and they put on this concert. Now this is an audio version of a concert that was previously available on video and I'm assuming DVD. The cool thing is that the whole video of this is available on YouTube. So you can watch this, and the audio for this is identical. It was just released not too long ago. This audio version was released not too long ago. So I was already familiar, at least with the video part of it. And I'll tell you, it is a great performance from the blokes in Rose Tattoo. The lineup that they had for this at the time was, of course, their vocalist Angry Anderson. If you don't know who he is, he was in Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. The guy he takes a lot of abuse in that movie, but great vocalist for Rose Tattoo. He's been on all of their releases since the late 70s. So we got Angry. Then you got on slide guitar Peter Wells, sadly passed away since this concert. Mick Cox on guitar, sadly passed away since the release of this. Got Jordy Leach on bass and Paul DeMarco on drums. Paul DeMarco was in the band at this point in the 90s. Later, he was not in the band, and I believe he's back with the band now. And they're going through what I believe is their final tour that they're hanging it up, since they are getting a little bit up there. But this show from '93 is just a great incendiary performance from the guys, and it's not that long either. It's 11 songs and 53 minutes. So in 11 songs they blast through 6 songs from their debut, their self-titled debut from '78, 3 songs from the follow-up Assault and Battery from 1981, and then a couple of covers that they do. One is a pretty solid rendition of the Stones' "Street Fighting Man," and a good song for the guys to play, seeing as what they are, that they're working class guys and everything. The concert is cool to watch as well, because playing at a jail, of course, out in a public part of the jail, Angry has on a prison jumpsuit while he's playing, and so it's cool to see that along with this. The other cover that they do is the final song of the show, which is the oft covered "Going Down." And now there's not a lot of lyrics to this song, but this is just this song and this performance is just on fire. And to help them out on this song, they have Billy Thorpe on guitar, from a fellow Australian hero, also sadly passed away since the release of this album. But the performance of "Going Down" is just so great. You got 3 guitarists out there doing leads, and Angry is just doing it with his rough, vocals but yet he still sounds pretty good and hits the notes. A great performance all the way around. And like I said, it's cool that this is an audio performance of a video of something that was previously on video, and it is available on YouTube if you want to care to check out the video. But it's worth it for the great performances. Other songs like "Bad Boy for Love" and "Out of This Place," "Rock and Roll Outlaw," of course, "Nice Boys Don't Play Rock and Roll." If you've only ever heard the Guns N' Roses version, the original Rose Tattoo version stomps and destroys the Guns N' Roses version. So please check that out. But it's a fun live album from '93, live from Bago Road Jail.
Cool. All right. And I'm a little lost without my TV. So on the Grand Megas, I did forget to do the report card. It's just real fast. Production B, songwriting B, musicianship B, solid B album. Vocals A, because of the warmth and ability to get you ready for battle. I'm gonna give it an A because it gets you more revved up and like you have a positive frame mind of war and you're ready to go. So wanted to get that out of the way. And Ryan, what's your next batch?
All right, so we're gonna go we're gonna stay in Finland. Actually my favorite of all these releases. This is a band called, take it out of a jewel case again, Vitriolic, and the name of the album is Black Steel Vengeance. And this is again, nothing fancy here. This is straight up old school black metal mixed with thrash metal played at warp speed, which I have a huge fondness for. These guys all go under pseudonyms. And the drummer, his name is Vivan Vitriolic. This dude's feet must be fucking killing him after this because he is murdering those double pedals like that old school Charlie from Anthrax, Dave Lombardo, helicopter double bass, full speed. But yeah, this is just let's see how many tracks here we got. We got 10 tracks of just high speed, fast, catchy thrash metal mixed with like black metal vocals and kind of has like a black metal like framework built onto it. But the speed and the intensity of it is like old school thrash metal. There's a lot of bands playing this now. I would say, some of the more famous ones, obviously, Niflheim, Destroyer 666, Or Noir. There's a few, Disaster from Germany. Actually, speaking of German bands, yeah, if you like that kind of stuff, old school 8 or 90s Absu from Texas, that kind of sound. If you like those bands, this is definitely cool. The first album a couple of years ago was cool, but I feel like they could improve. They could do a little bit better. And on the second album, which just came out about a month or two ago, yeah, they really killed it here. And I love that art too. I kind of wish I could get that on a t-shirt too. So this is a really cool album of just like old school black metal, thrash metal coming out of Finland. Highly recommended. Definitely my favorite of all these releases. And then we're gonna go to we're gonna stay in the realms of thrash with a little bit of black metal, but we're gonna go over to Mexico. And this band is actually, again, this is cool because these guys are really young, but they're playing some fucking fast as shit killer metal. The band is called Phantom. And this is their album Handed to Execution. So Headsplit Records actually they did this and they did a follow-up EP called Transylvania Nightmare. And Headsplit put them both on one CD for you. And this is if you like stuff like old Creator, like 1985, 1986 Creator, old Destruction, like nothing past like 1986, 1987. If you like bands like Midnight, really old Venom, that kind of stuff. Toxic Holocaust, old Sepultura. That's the kind of stuff you're talking about here. So it's kind of got like that fast and loose razor wire edge to it, really fast. Vocals are kind of like, not, they kind of have that old school like shout, growl at the same time vocals that a lot of these bands did. I like to use the phrase more will than skill, but it fits. It's cool. And I know to me, a lot of new thrash bands they just lack that intensity. A lot of these bands coming around now, they're kind of like, oh, we're playing old school thrash, but it doesn't feel like I'm getting hit in the head with a fucking hammer, And these guys get that too. And these guys are all like, from what I could see, they're all like 19, 20, 21. They're pretty young. And they're playing this like fast as shit, super aggressive thrash metal, which I love. Brand new band. And that band is Phantom Handed to Execution. And it's 2 releases on here, and they're both really, really cool. So that is all I have for now. And actually, I'll throw it in here real quick because they do release quite a few tapes, and I like it. I like demos on tapes, like I said. I'm gonna butcher this band name. Auto. You know what? I can't even take the J card out, so I'm just gonna hold it up here. This band is Autolysis, and it's Inevitable Infection. This is like old school, gurgly, like old Carcass kind of stuff. Here's a band from Japan, Viscera Infest, Heratoma. Very, very fast, like a little more grindcore, super fast blast beat drums. I love it. I believe these guys are also from Mexico. Stenched, gorging on Mephitic Rot. I just love this shit. It's just like dirty, filthy metal. Get these tapes. They're not that expensive. Throw them in the tape deck, drink a beer. It's fucking cool.
That hiss gives it a little bit more dirtiness.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I get a tape like this, and it's just a 4-song demo tape. Like it's not I was never big on like buying albums on tape, but if like I said, if a band puts out a demo, it's a demo tape, and I liked it. So I get this cool tape in the mail. I throw it in my tape deck. Open up.
It's like their Soundhouse tapes.
It is, and I dig that. But they do CDs and tapes too. But I do kind of respect them that they keep the old tape tradition alive because I know people are like, ah, man, it's 2024. We're still listening to tapes. I fucking like it. Like tape deck works great. Nothing wrong with the technology. I kind of like that hiss, and sometimes that hiss and that kind of that warmth, that analog warmth of the tape, really, especially for like Yeah, like greasy, kind of like underground metal like this. Like I wouldn't want to listen to like a Pink Floyd album on tape. That would not be that would or a Rush. Like that wouldn't fit. But you get some like greasy underground death metal. Fuck yeah, throw it on a tape. I'll throw it on my tape
Yeah.
deck. Uh, yeah, and then, I mean they put out quite a few albums. But I figured I'd kind of highlight those ones. But yeah, Headsplit Records out of Portland, Oregon. If you like that kind of stuff, if you like old Carcass, if you like Autopsy, if you like, old like dirty thrash like Creator and Destruction and Sodom, if you like any of that, Celtic Frost, if any of that stuff is like ringing a little bell in your head, check them out. They're not on Bandcamp because I know a lot of labels use Bandcamp now, but they have a YouTube channel where they put the whole release up so you can hear all the stuff in full on YouTube for free. I don't know if they're on like Amazon or Spotify, Amazon Music, because I don't use those things, but they might be. And some of these bands do have like Bandcamp pages on their own too. And then they have a website. You can just go and you can order the stuff right from the band. The guy will ship it out to you. Usually packs a bunch of cool stuff in. Which actually, you know what? I'm going to say this too. If I can find this here. 1 second. Oh yeah, here we go. This is one of my favorite things that the label does. In addition to all this old school cool shit, the label proprietor, name's Dylan, publishes a old school black and white little zine. He puts out a couple of these a year. So in addition to releasing new stuff every couple months, he'll throw up this. He does interviews with all the bands he releases, does some reviews. It's just cool. It's just like a real simple zine. I love this shit. I fucking love this.
Yeah.
Interviews with all the bands he's putting out. Just down and dirty, quick interviews, a page or two.
Yeah. There's a charm to it.
Yeah. Yeah, little reviews in the back, the tours for the bands. He has this band called Oxygen Destroyer, which I did not review, but it's basically a death metal band that sings strictly about like Gojira and Godzilla stuff. Gamera, fucking awesome band from I think Seattle or Portland. Yeah, I have a whole stack of these fucking things called Headsplit Records. Little advertisements from the band. Everything's all black and white, kind of like photocopied. It's just cool as shit. There's
Like
another
going back in time to the early 80s.
Yeah, I fucking love it. I love this shit. I have a big stack. I mean, I have tons of these zines from like all over. Anyways, I have big stacks of them, but the fact that he does it reliably, keeps churning them out. It's cool as shit. So that's right up my alley. So yeah, if you like that kind of metal, check out Headsplit. I think it's worth your time and a few dollars from your wallet.
You know what else I like on cassette is original 80s metal albums because I used to own them on cassette. So if I find them in really good condition and they play well, it's fun to have that. Like the same feeling I had when I was 14 of listening to Power Slave on cassette and flipping over and
music that you would tear if you listen to it, you're going to tear right into that shank that you've got plated there.
I have a stack. Like one of my favorite bands on earth is Voivod. So there's stacks of old Voivod albums I have on vinyl, in box sets, on CD, reissued. But I also have a lot of them on tape too. And they don't reissue the tapes in these cases. So all the tapes are like old Combat or Noise Records. I think Noise Records. Right. But yeah, I thought it. Sometimes I'll throw the tape on, even though I have this expensive, fancy, vinyl box set or like this really nice like CD reissue. DVDs. I like that. Fuck it. I want the tape from 1986. I'll throw that on.
It has history on that.
Yeah,
tape.
It's got history.
A lot of history on that tape.
Yeah, it's like baked into it. It's cool.
Usually that's the only. Usually you prefer to listen to something, as best as possible. But for some reason, a lot of the '80s thrash, you kind of dismiss that, and it has that charm, like you said, of like Bonded by Blood or something like that. It's like well, it could sound better, but then it's like I like the grit and grime that the way that it does sound as is.
The best analogy I have is actually Chris Allo used to do the Hudson Horror Show around here in Hudson Valley, and he show old horror movies. So and he shows sometimes big horror movies like Jaws, for example. So we've all seen Jaws. We've probably seen 4K, ultra restored, super high def, super clear reissues. But when Chris showed Jaws, he would show the original 1970s 35 millimeter reel. Right. So let's be honest, in this day and age, it's washed out, it's muddy, and it looks and sounds like shit. But that's the original reel from when it played in the theaters. You know what? It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, a lot of history.
It's all the history. Yeah. So you're seeing how it was, which is, it hasn't been gussied up. Although that's fine too, and I get that. But yeah, you like that original like grime, kind of like big. It's like not cleaning the grill all the way.
I have Miles Davis Kind of Blue original vinyl. I also have a remastered CD. I got the box set, it's in there, but you know what? You take out that original copy with all the cracks and, and a crackling on it. It just, there's something about it. A lot of
Sometimes the original audio master is different too. If all you have is like reissues that have remastered or remixed audio, uh, it's not always an improvement. So sometimes that original audio, as it was like the day it was released, is the best. You know,
Yeah.
it happens.
Yeah. And I will say, if you're out there and you're like, I'm going to start buying used cassettes, they're like instant lottery tickets. Sometimes you get a winner, sometimes you get a loser. You just don't, unless you bring a Walkman into the record store with you.
Oh yeah,
Might come home and it sounds warped.
Yeah, the previous owner could have kept
You're
it
not
near
going to bring it back.
magnets or
I would say
something.
don't go over
Yeah.
$10 on a used cassette unless it's something that you really, really want.
yeah. Actually, you know what? Let's do one real quick here. I was in a really cool record store down in New Jersey a couple of weeks ago called Vinyl Addiction, and I bought all kinds of stuff to it. As I'm checking out, I look over on the shelf, and for $1, he had. I almost feel embarrassed holding this up. For $1, he had Kiss Animalize.
And
I'm like, you know what?
That's a good album.
I'll spend $1 because the only song I remembered on it was "I've Had Enough," and I'm like, that's a pretty bagging song. So I'm like, I'll spend $1, but I knew damn well because it's an original cassette. I'm like, from this is 1984.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is either gonna sound cool or it's gonna sound like fucking dog shit. And
Yeah.
it sounds fine. Like I threw it in when I got home. It sounds absolutely fine. There was no, because you'll know, you get halfway through the tape and it starts slowing down and
Yeah.
you lose one channel, you lose one
Yeah.
speaker. You're like,
Yeah.
yeah, someone left it in the fucking sun. But no, but yeah, yeah, you're really right. It is a lotto ticket. You know,
Yeah.
you don't know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, I was at a record fair, I'm going to say about 7 years ago, and they had a bunch of dollar cassettes, and they had an original Death, Scream Bloody Gore, an original Possess Seven Churches for $1. Scoop those up on Discogs, they're going like for $50. And they both.
And those are albums where you want the. I mean, that's the kind of sound that fits on vinyl. Just the kind of dirty albums, anyways. So
I don't
there's a
play
little
them
extra
because I'm
filth
afraid
baked
that
in.
they're going to get eaten and ruined, and I don't want that to happen.
No. Well, if you get $50 for them,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's go. I still did my case of the singles. There's not much out there, but Astronaut, which is a stoner rock band, they released an album this year, did a remake of Bungle in the Jungle, and it's really cool. They stretch it out in a stoner rock kind of way. Paul Simon and his crazy wife, Edie Brickell, did a song called Bad Dream, which is like a bluesy song. And then Pentagram has Thundercrest out. I guess they're releasing a new album. So Thundercrest, it sounds pretty solid to me. I mean, what's the guy's name? Bobby? Is that the lead?
Bobby.
Yeah, he sounds a little older, but he is a little older. So what are you going to do?
Definitely a little.
It still sounds pretty solid. I'll probably pick up the new album if I believe there's a new album coming out. So that's it. That's the wrap here from Walters. So remember, check us out on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're in German restaurants all together, all the damn time. I hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. And hey, we hit 1,000 subscribers this morning.
100,000.
100,000.
What did I say? 1,000?
Yeah.
Times 100.
Woo, I think
We're gonna
that
boost it up by 90K.
900.
We hit 100,000 subscribers this morning, which is really cool. And that's why I'm drinking to celebrate the 100,000 subscribers.
Yeah, congratulations to Pete, and thanks.
Yeah, that's a lot of
and thanks to everyone who views and subscribes and everything. It's really cool because I mean, Jamie and Ryan, I'm sure you guys can attest. You remember like when you first started watching this, and it said maybe there was 20,000 or less subscribers.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool how in a few years how it's grown so much. So congratulations, Pete.
It's crazy to think that way.
I still get people coming up to me at shows all the time, like, "Oh, you're on Sea Tranquility," like all over everywhere, and it's still cool as shit. Just the other day when I saw Iron Maiden in Brooklyn, a guy stopped nicking myself. He's like, "Oh, Hudson Valley Squares," you know. We were headed into the show, so I appreciate it. It's awesome. Always come up and say hello.
And you got Maiden tonight, right?
Going, yeah, a couple hours heading down to Newark, New Jersey to see Iron Maiden with Nick and Pete and
Chris is going to be there too, I believe.
Chris, I think, Aloe. Yeah, there'll be a bunch of us there.
Actually,
we're going to a German restaurant before the show. So,
wonderful.
So when this is debuting, the opening band will probably be on. Which
yes,
you're going to go in for, or you're going to skip it?
No, I have GA, which means I have to go right up front, which means I can't really drink. I can't drink. Well, I can drink beer, but I have to piss it all out first. I have a whole process because once you're in GA, you're locked up front. You're not leaving. Like you're not moving.
Drink liquor; it goes through you less.
Yeah, it's the quantity, not the yeah.
And for those who don't know, the opening act on Iron Maiden on this tour is called The Who, not that Who. It's
Right.
HU,
Eat
and
you.
they are from Mongolia, and there's at least what, 9 or 10 of them are
It's a
on
it's
stage.
like
Or
Mongolian Slipknot. There's like 8 or 9 of them on stage. Yeah.
yeah, it's
It
kind
was
of
good
this
looking band.
weird mix of like battle music and Rammstein-ish type almost like marching type mechanized
Hmm.
music. I mean, some of it was okay, but I mean, they play an hour, and it feels like it.
Back in the day, we'd still be drinking in the parking lot for that kind of
If I
band.
wasn't in, I'll be honest, if I wasn't in GA, I'd be drinking in the parking lot. But
Yeah, yeah.
I'm used to it with Maiden because I got to be right up front for Harry and the boys. So
You got to get up there and get
I got to
some
be up front.
too.
It's a great. When I saw him in Brooklyn last week, and I
Yeah.
don't, Craig, you saw him in PA.
Philadelphia, yeah.
Oh yeah, they were fucking awesome.
That
I
was a
loved
great
the hell
show.
out of the set. I really appreciated it. I was
Not
all into
coming
it.
near me. Oh well. Um, where was I? Oh, okay. We got the Kofi, where you can give a little bit of your money to us, and we got the membership thing, and then we got the Cameo. Throw Pete some money, and maybe he'll take you to a cool German restaurant. You guys could drink German beer and eat pork shanks together. So for Craig, for Ryan, for everyone who sang for us, that was so nice of them to
It
do
was
that.
cool.
I take the time out to do that. It took a little bit of work to get that, but it was totally worth it. I'm Jamie until the next 2 weeks when we have a new crew and new reviews. We're out.